nobody talks about how to take care of your body or pace yourself or anything like that. Nobody talks about nutrition. I really never thought much about nutrition until I got pregnant. And then I thought, okay, there's a responsibility here. And then I always made sure that I was okay and that I fed you guys right, which led into being healthy for the music, but I didn't really do it for the music. But I should have done it from that.
Well,
Nobody talks about that.
No, they don't. But
It's
I mean,
sad.
for me, it was a health issue. But I also know from that, like I said, for my shows, which are very high energy, I need to work out and I need to eat foods that are healthy. Because
I feel better.
I feel that I can perform better and I can be a happier person when I'm healthy and I'm feeling good.
Yes, of course.
And, then I'm giving out happy energy.
That's right.
Everybody is happy.
Yes.
And that's good because then that helps me grow as an artist too, because I can constantly build as opposed to constantly like fighting back and forth all the time.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, I mean, it really helps to be healthy, but you have to work towards that. You don't just...
And that's part of your regime. It's not just practicing the music. It's that all-around thing. It's a holistic thing. You have to think of your body and don't get into tense situations too, Don't try not to have fights or whatever, It's just living kind of a positive way, which I think helps too, because...
And you've always been that way, and maybe that rubbed off on me too, because I think I'm kind of like that as well.
Because, I mean, there's enough struggle... Thank you. There's enough struggle with an instrument. I'm thinking of all these...
Or singing.
Clarinet and oboe with their problems and everything. I mean, there's always a constant struggle with everything, and the horn player too, and
it's any instrument.
So you want to be healthy and be free of a lot of your problems. You have to close them off.
Yeah, so that you're concentrating
so that you can
on
concentrate on that. That's why I could always drive with you guys having mayhem in the cars, because I could just close off that and go straight in. I'll never forget that trip from Wyoming. You were 5 months old, and you were in the front seat with Brian in this little car thing.
In the front seats?
Yes, between the two seats, and Brian was kind of taking care of you. Brian was not. Patrick and Ellen were in the back seat, and I had tied some sleds on these sleds, like flying saucers on the top of the car, and the back seat was full of boxes, and unfortunately somebody had just sent me a bunch of clothes from Quebec for the kids, and I had to take them back. So at the back seat, I had boxes of stuff. Well, they're bored, and they're starting to pull stuff out. And then we got into someplace, I guess in Wyoming, it was wintertime, and the sleds started flapping, coming undone on top of the car. And I might have had boxes there too. So I had to put everything in the back seat of the car, and then put Patrick and Ella on top of this, sitting on these sleds. So for 4 days or how many long it took me, they're pulling everything out of these boxes. That back seat was just packed with clothes and toys, all unpacked, I should say. But anyhow, I'm just driving straight down the highway. Oh boy. So that's what you have to do when you're a musician. You have to focus. That's all. Doesn't matter what's going on around you.
Which
you
comes
have to
from
focus.
Practicing and
being secure in what you're playing too. I mean, being secure in your instrument. You can't fight your instrument. You have to work with your instrument, and it has to be warm. And so it's all together.
So what we're saying is, behind the scenes, you might be stuck in the back seat of the car. But
I can't help it. I've got some weird experiences.
Well, I know you do, okay? We all have. I remember one of the first times I was singing at this in this retirement home place, and this woman, I swear she must have had Alzheimer's, but she got up and she started taking off all of her clothes.
Really?
And she had a diaper on, and she took her diaper off, and she was like... And, you know, I was not laughing, but I'm telling you, I could have been very entertained by this woman who was sitting in the front row doing this. And I don't know why no one said anything or did anything.
Really?
And I just continued on with my music and did my thing. And but I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in a concert.
That reminds me of several times conductors. There was this one conductor in Quebec. He actually wasn't a conductor. He worked for the CBC. I don't know if but he anyway came to our orchestra to conduct. He was an alcoholic. And so, you know, in the rehearsals, I mean, you could tell it. He's kind of weaving around. Well, on the concert, he probably was a nervous person. So he drank. So he's on the concert, he's on the podium, and he keeps stepping backwards. And I had the eye of a violinist over here, and we started laughing. Oh my gosh, because he kept doing this. And then, of course, your dad in the back, they're all into their horns. Oh, I'm telling you, it's hard.
Well,
it's hard. You're playing a concert.
He
was conducting, and we're playing a concert. And he couldn't stand still. He kept weaving, and he kept stepping back off of the, you know, he'd be weaving back, and suddenly his foot would go down, he'd be back, and then he'd have to get back on this podium. Probably wasn't, 4 inches or something like that.
High ones.
No, and it didn't have a back on it either, like they do usually.
Was he keeping tempo?
Well, somehow, I mean, orchestras play regardless, right? You have a togetherness when you play all the time. So even if some dumb things happen, you play. You just go ahead and play. But to laugh and play is really hard. It's like coughing, you know. Cough and play is pretty hard too.
Yeah,
but
cough and sing doesn't quite work either.
No, cough
and that's happened to me. Only a couple of times, but that's really hard. Or I need to swallow.
Oh yeah, what do you do?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on where I'm singing, like in the phrase and stuff. It just depends. But that does happen often, and coughing happens. I've only had it happen a couple of times, and one time I think I just stopped and said I need to get a drink of water. But it's really only happened. But you know, things like that happen. And for singing, it's a little weird because you can't continue singing when you're coughing. It just doesn't work. However, I have many times felt like I'm going to cough, but continued singing. And you can do that.
Cleared it out.
Well, no, then I got to the end of the song and then
you were able to.
You know, yes, and I've learned kind of how to do that. I don't remember if I did that in school or something. I remember once that happening to me and figuring out how to get through it. And one thing was that I took tons of breaths, like I was breathing after every second word or something to sort of get it. But yeah, so all these weird things happen. I mean, I don't have drunken tales because I don't drink and haven't been in a situation like that.
No,
just weird rehearsal concert things. There's always some odd thing in the audience, or something happens backstage, or something falls, or something breaks, or your costume rips, or your wig's about to fall off your head, or your hair falls, and you know, things like. And one thing that happens to me a lot because of bright lights is sometimes it makes me cry.
Yeah, like right now.
So some of them are just so bright, like I can't see anything. And they're just like shining in my face, and it makes me cry, and I can't do anything about it. I just let all the tears go, because I can't sit there going like this or anything, because it will screw up your makeup. I mean, that screws it up too, but you can't do anything. The show goes on.
That's right. That's right.